So I most definitely ate it on the walk over here. And you can actually see the expanse behind me was all farmlands not long ago, and now they're leveling them for more houses. It's kind of interesting to see in the snow, you know, well, and ice. All of this, like there's patches of snow, but otherwise everything is ice. And on the way over here, there was sort of a built-up bank that must have been like hollow in the middle or something. And of course, I go to step on it, I go to take the next step, and all my weight went down. Yeah, I just went right sideways. So that's fun. I've been enjoying our time here, and we spent time in the Dallas area before, and the weather was way worse, like windier and stormier, just kind of crappier. And it was cold, but no snow. And I don't know, it's nice, it's peaceful. We was sleeping in the trailer, and it's been good. And I might have been a little premature, let's say, in winterizing, because our tank heaters appear to be working from what I can tell. And I say this because the lines inside were frozen, but draining the tanks, run the jacks up and actually started pushing the trailer to see if we can hear any of the water in there. And you can definitely hear like the gray tank. We didn't empty that. I'm not too worried about that one. But the fresh tank, it shows 0%, and I actually believe it. If it had been iced over or whatever, I feel like those sensors would show more than 0. And afterwards, went ahead and just turned on the furnace, just to have the furnace running instead of the air conditioner, because that AC will work down to 19 degrees Fahrenheit, 19.4 degrees Fahrenheit. But after that, yeah, it cannot defrost, and like it's just not efficient. So, but that furnace is like cooked us out. So. We went ahead and called Dometic for some support a little while back, and they're like, you need a bigger furnace. I'm like, you don't need a bigger freaking furnace. That's not a, no, we're just fine. Actually, when that furnace runs though, the whole shower is a little warmer, which is nice. It's like a little, I don't want to say a sauna, but it's like, it's kind of like a towel warmer, you know, it's kind of cool. So we were supposed to leave on Saturday morning. I actually thought to actually leave on Friday before any snow or ice. I was right to be concerned that the ice is the issue, not the snow. I don't care about it. But yeah, it's the ice, because it was like a little bit of like trickling of like almost like frozen rain, and then it all froze over in this hellscape. It's like a freaking, I mean, the texture, oh, it's nuts. Even though it looks like you should have some grip. So I have been noticing a lot of people without snow tires or any extra gear, they're just driving really slowly. I always though anticipate, even when like the temps are like 30 degrees, but it looks like it's just been raining, I always presume I won't have enough time to stop. And I think a lot of people just don't think that way, right? So, but I have never been in an accident due to, you know, ice or anything like that. So, and I've driven a lot of ice. My very first outing with my trailer, my very first trailer, went ahead and had to drive in very inclement weather and windy snowstorm, and you know, you do what you can, but never had a problem with any of that, so that's good. But we thought to leave early and decided against it. I think that was fine. You know, but apparently, so the round 2 has come of this ice storm deal, and there's supposed to be a third one, I guess. There's a weather guy, a Max Vortex or something like that is his YouTube channel, and he's like, yeah, there's going to be another one. So I'm not worried about it, but yeah, I think as long as we stay on the interstates, which we are planning to, we're going up to the northeast. So funny enough, our exact path everywhere that we're going, this storm, like third storm is, you know, I don't know, we'll see. Will we make it? We're gonna find out. But I'm really in no hurry to leave, but we do have a deadline. And I gotta say, I know a lot of folks are like, oh, that sounds miserable. I got a couple comments about below freezing in an RV and how like miserable it must be. It's not. We still have, you know, we've still been sleeping. I've been hanging out in the house because that's where Emma's family is, and it's been nice to hang out with them. I love our RV. You know, even in the, you know, it's that furnace that, like, I don't know, it's 9,500 BTUs, I guess, and it's a propane furnace, but it does us really well. So, you know, obviously electric heat, you know, a little space heater will take significantly more power than the propane furnace. But, you know, either way works well. I do like the electric heaters just because they don't create any condensation, whereas propane is kind of a wetter heat. I know people will say that it exhausts out, but some of it makes inside. You'll notice that when you're cooking as well, even if you're not doing a lot of moist cooking, although that adds to, and then we breathe. So That's the thing. But we don't have as much like condensation when we're just running the electric heater, and that's what we're seeing. I could probably measure it if we had a hydrometer, I think is the right word for humidity. But we didn't bring it again. I thought to bring the weather station, but no, I didn't. But otherwise, we've just been staying busy, and we've got a lot of computer work to do. A lot of, you know, I don't want to say nitpicky stuff, but like the stuff that's not as much fun to do, but that needs to be done. So we've been staying busy doing that, and then in between, actually doing some painting projects with Emma's family, and actually they've been painting the room today for, you know, one of the bedrooms they've been painting, which is kind of cool. So yeah, everybody's having fun, and yeah, I am probably going to shed at least 15. I'm going to call it the Dallas 15, because I put on like oh man, you know the holiday food when you're like everybody's kind of feasting and you're hanging out with your family on the holidays. Yep. That's this. It's hard, man, because the food is so delicious and you're just like in a laid back, like, oh, it's nice. But yeah, there's something about it though. I am itching to get on the road, you know, and I'm trying to think of what we're missing. I don't know that we're missing too much. If we drive straight through in a regular car, 2-3 days max. It's probably 20 hours of driving. 3 days, give or take, you know. With a trailer, I like to drive 55 or maybe 65, but it averages out to 55 with the trailer. And we've got, you know, something like, I think it's 1,400 miles exactly to get there. And so it is one of those things, I'm like, do we do shorter drive days and more hanging out, or, right, but we'll have no service, you know, we won't be able to plug in until we get there. But we'll be actually going to an RV park. And so I know, crazy RV park, right? But it's already set up for us and all that. So it's, you know, it's not us. If we had our way though, in a perfect world, we'd be down there in Florida. It is one of those things, it's a trade-off of like more relaxed days, and then you get to see a little bit more, but it takes longer to get there, or you rush it, you see less, but it gets done sooner. And I think we're gonna go the latter. You know, I do think we're gonna have to, you know, we're planning on leaving 4 days in, you know, 3 days in advance, because we left ourselves an extra buffer day, but I think we might leave just a few more. So actually by sometime this week, because today's Monday, I think we're gonna leave Wednesday or Thursday. It is a matter of like, we need the ice to kind of calm down. But again, I think it's one of those things that like, as long as we take it easy and get out on the interstate, I think once we're on the interstate, we'll be fine. You know, I'm guessing here, but we've never experienced an ice storm, I feel like, or never actually had to move during an ice storm. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm lacking in vitamin D. I feel a little vitamin D deficient. I feel like that's actually some of this pain, because the pain is, I don't want to say, you know, coming and going, but it's, you know, between like a 3 and an 8, I'd say now. And it wasn't just a solid 10 the other day. And again, that about whipped me. But I think that some of that is like being inside and, you know, vitamin D deficiency. And then there's an allergy. The problem is, it's like, what am I allergic to? I don't know. And I don't think it's spicy. You know, I was thinking about, is it spices or something like that? I don't think so. You know, trying to get to the bottom of that. But the only thing you can really do is an elimination diet, right? It's not so much as easy to figure out like what you can't tolerate as so much as it is what you can tolerate. And then when you start adding things in, you're like, there it is. It's something in this meal. Let's break that down, you know, and I don't know. Anyways, that's the whole thing. The cold doesn't help that, but it feels good to be out in the sun here. The wind chill, that's the thing. There's a little wind coming in. I'm actually kind of excited to see some of the mountains and cities as we drive through, coated in, you know, snow and ice. That'll be kind of cool to see, but that's our update here. We're just sort of killing time a little bit, you know, staying busy, killing time. And I guess it is a matter of like, which box do you choose to hang out in? Really, like, because out here you can only handle it for so long. If I stay still and I keep my hands in my pockets, I'm good to go. But thankfully, we do have our really big winter coats. Those are wonderful. You know, we've got good gloves. Yeah, I'm sure we have beanies somewhere. Stash those away. This is the worst thing, man. Is like Emma has one form of organization, and then I have mine, and I'm very picky with mine. But then of course, inevitably, one of us concedes and we're like, okay, we'll put it over here, and then we both forget where something went. Even in a small space, sometimes you lose things. It's not as often by any means as a house. That is the thing. But actually, one other quick comparison, something that came to mind is, you know, I was thinking about, I've got this pain, right? And it's joint pain everywhere, back pain, skin pain. What, you know, pros and cons to everything, of course. But would I rather be in an RV or the house? And actually, I decided to go into the trailer quite a few times because I want to lay down, I want to relax, and then when I get up to go to the restroom or something like that, or to grab some water, it's just like 2 steps to the bathroom, versus I have to really make a trek, and every step is pain, and then, you know, foot pain. It's a whole thing. And I'm not just whining. My point is that I think that being in an RV, you know, even the biggest RVs, like your bathroom's only a couple steps away. And so for those of us that are like, yeah, we've got some mobility challenges, let's say, or you know, pain or whatever, RV living's where it's at. And then ideally, you have somebody else to do like the work, that if you've got to dump tanks or you got to do this or whatever, you know, somebody to help you out with some of those things. You know, but I think about that, and I was actually in an apartment when I first started having these pains, over 10 years ago, over 10 years ago now, yeah. And actually, I found great relief, actually, because I moved into my car, and somehow I found really good relief with that. But yeah, so pros and cons, I think it's just another confirmation that, you know, even in some of the worst weather, which it's really not bad. I mean, everybody's like, it's gonna be crazy. It's not that bad. Although, in fairness, though, the city of Nashville, which we actually left Nashville after a tornado, and they had no power. Well, they have no power again, apparently. So we were looking forward to actually going through there. And we might still make a stop. Who knows? Maybe they'll have power by the time we get through, but I feel like they got to figure that out. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like above ground power lines. I don't know. I think we made the right decision. And yeah, it's nice. We're getting things done. And we're also figuring out, like, in the future, because inevitably we won't have this RV for, you know, with our track record, it'll be like 2, 3, 4, 5 years max, you know, and then we'll get something else. And that's just, that's about what it's been. No, I think that, like, we look at what we want to change, and sure, I like the idea of the propane fridge, but I also prefer the other features, like no holes on the side of our rig, you know, from the electric unit. So I think we will be going with the 12-volt unit in the future, but I do like having propane on board for things like the propane furnace, which, you know, I guess a diesel heater would work just as well, and we're already getting diesel, but, you know, so maybe that's an option. You know, it's not much. I mean, the diesel heaters seem to work well, but they do require maintenance, or unfortunately replacements. They got to figure that out. We need a reliable version of that. But, you know, diesel or propane heat, and they take very little power. And right now our solar panels are completely covered, so you know, whatever. But I think we'll be fine. We'll be leaving with a full charge, and the furnace doesn't take much in the way of power, especially not this one. And we'll keep our fridge on propane. As long as we top up propane between here and Pennsylvania, we'll get back on electric and enjoy our stay there too. And yeah, we'll be hitting the road in just a little bit. But just a little update here for you. And Emma does say hi. She'd be out here with me, but no, she's covered in paint, you know, like a hot pink, let's say, or more flamingo pink, actually. It's more flamingo pink. Just an update from Dallas, Texas. No cowboy hats, but there is ice, so nothing like I expect Texas to be. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.